The KwaZulu-Natal legislature will soon fill two positions after the resignation of the Economic Development MEC Ravi Pillay. The other position is that of Finance MEC, which was until recently occupied by Nomusa Dube-Ncube. She has today been sworn in as the Premier and replaces KZN who resigned last Friday after defeat at the ANC conference where he was running for re-election as the party's provincial chairperson. Let's talk about all of these movements and speak to analyst Dr Fikile Vilakazi. She's with the University of KwaZulu-Natal. Doctor, very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for being on Daytime Update. So, a new Premier sworn in, as expected. It's now happened. Nomusa Dube-Ncube is the first woman Premier of KwaZulu-Natal. How significant a moment is this?
Wow. Good morning to you, Thembekile, and the viewers at home. It's quite a historical moment in KwaZulu-Natal, highly significant in terms of gender issues in the country, in terms of taking women's leadership serious. KwaZulu-Natal has really made history in this regard, and hopefully it is setting a tone that can be followed by other provinces, but also by the national government. South Africa has been waiting for a very long time, almost a century, to see a feminist and healing-led government, and it has arrived in KwaZulu-Natal, and we are hoping that it will spread in other parts of the country as soon as possible.
Why had it not happened in KwaZulu-Natal 28 years into the democratic dispensation?
For the same reasons that it's not happened within the African National Congress for 110 years. The gatekeeping of patriarchy within our social system really generally has been gatekeeping women into positions of support for a very long time, perhaps a question of trust, perhaps an issue of power as well in terms of trusting women to lead in these significant positions, because we know that in a patriarchal society like ours, women have always been seen to be having responsibilities in the kitchen, literally, and not in politics. So it could be that there's been fear. There's been fear to share power with the feminine divinities of our country in politics, in the economy, and in various spheres. But, of course, over the push that has happened in various spaces of activism, feminist and women's movement in the country really have been doing this work for many, many years. We are hoping that it has landed into good ears now and into good spaces that we see the shift happening. But it has been patriarchy that has been gatekeeping all along.
A significant moment, a historic moment, as you say, but given that Nomusa Dube-Ncube is, for all intents and purposes, someone who's seen as a caretaker premier because the current chairperson or the top leaders of the ANC in the province simply don't match the sort of experience that she has in government, how much real influence do you expect that she will have?
Thembekile, my sense is that I think Nomusa will have some kind of influence in the province because she's a strong leader. She has demonstrated this in the various portfolios that she has held. Of course, that is not going to come without challenges of patriarchy. Challenges of power within. The resignation of MEC Ravi Pillay, amongst others, is a demonstration of the challenges that she will be faced. There are men in our society that are still thinking that, there is no way I'm going to be led by a woman. We do not know whether that is what is influencing Ravi Pillay, but it is suspected from where I am sitting, to see him resign in the manner that is done just on the eve of the swearing in of the Premier, who is a woman. So there are those things that are going to happen, and I think that is something that we need to expect. When patriarchy is falling in this manner, it will show also those kinds of demonstrations that may be a distraction towards her really taking charge, towards her leading and really commanding authority, of course collectively, because she's been saying beautifully that her leadership is a style that is collective. She knows that she's not a leader in her own right, solely, unilaterally, but she knows she leads within a power of the collective, and she seems to be committed to be leading in that manner. Right. So there are going to be those challenges, Thembekile, that will face her, but we hope that she will rise above them.
Well, the resignation of MEC Ravi Pillay this morning has been interpreted by some as the departure of someone who was a KZN ally, and that perhaps it is a beginning of a mass set of resignations from people whose loyalties were with KZN, or B, the beginning of a purge of so-called Zigalala loyalists. Where do you stand?
That's true. That could be true. I think that's part of the truth, right? It happens in any political system, Tembegile. We've seen, for instance, in 2016, Udlongwane did the same thing, just after Premier Sikhezi was sworn in, Udlongwane resigned, within a period of a month because he was simply just not aligned with the politics of Sikhezi. It happens in politics. People that are aligned with the faction of Sikhezi are going to show up, their anger and their frustration, of course, and they'll follow suit and they will exit institutions of government, perhaps even exit institutions of the African National Congress. And that's just something really that the current premier will have to deal with. But I think it will open up doors for something that is possible around changes that are required and necessary. In that, she also is looking at bringing in more women leadership, more participation of voices that have been silenced over time. So hopefully those kinds of moves will open doors for her and not bring her down and pull her down and perhaps depress her leadership, but rather it will enhance the change that is desired within the African National Congress and in South Africa. And I think I want to also keep reiterating that the role of the premier is the role of a leader for citizens. This is a leader for members of the community of KwaZulu-Natal, not just for the African National Congress. And I really would like Mama Nomusa Dube-Ncube to constantly remember that. So when there are movements that are happening, perhaps within the African National Congress or within the legislature, people resigning, I think she must always keep her head up, remembering that the people of KwaZulu-Natal have shown some kind of confidence in her leadership and garner support and continue to do the work of servicing people on the ground rather than being locked into the politics within the legislature in the politics of the ANC, because that is going to derail her. What we need now, and she says she's gonna jump in and run quickly. We need change in society. So things that are happening at the level of the legislature, at the level of the ANC, she should attend to them, but I don't think they should derail her attention towards service delivery, towards job creation, towards changing the livelihoods of people on the ground, as it tends to do, and we've seen it doing it, playing itself like that in the past. So I think she must just be cautious around that.
So what you're saying is the interesting issue, right, about whether cabinets at national level or executive councils at provincial level are constituted in the interest of appointing the very best competent people or rewarding allies who may have supported a particular person in the run-up to conference, or even an election as happened today for the new premier, even though it is rather a unique set of circumstances. How much of a disservice does that do to the government's ability, the ANC's ability to deliver to the people?
It affects continuity, Tembegile. If we are going to continue aligning ourselves in terms of leadership with the people that speak our language, people that dance to our songs, it really weakens the state. It weakens governance. And of course, it weakens service delivery, because what it means is that we are going to keep moving MECs from one position to the other, even when they've not even finished the job that they've been doing in another portfolio. And it does really shake the possibilities of service delivery. It compromises a lot for people on the ground. And I think it's something that we need to shy away from. Strong leadership should be about being able to work with the opposition, being able to work with dissenting voices, people that don't even like us, because it's not about necessarily the fact that we are working with people that like us. It is about the love of community, the love of service delivery, the love of changing people's lives. And I think that is where the passion should be. That is where our emotion should be, rather than being stuck in the emotion of being liked or disliked by certain people. No one is always going to love us when we are leaders. And I think it's important as a quality of leadership to constantly remember that. And as much as possible in the politics of South Africa generally, I think we need to sort of find a way of what we call retention of leadership in politics. We need to have policies that are moving more towards saying, how do we retain one another even as we don't speak the same language, so that you don't constantly find yourself sitting comfortably with people that love you and speak your language, because that is not quality leadership.
Dr. Fikile Vilakazi, a pleasure to speak to you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.